I like working in the Gould Center and doing cartography just because it's a creative outlet and things aren't exactly by the book, step for step, that you can actually go in and kind of put your own twist on things to make them look how you want them to look. So it's really open-ended. My responsibility as an intern in the Gould Center was basically to make maps and make them look pretty and appealing. One thing that I did was I made a map for EMEX, which is the Earth and Mineral Sciences like open house for new students to come and see what's available. And it was like my first experience making a map for a client. So it was a lot of new experiences of meeting with the clients and kind of getting to know what their needs are, opposed to what I knew how to do and kind of coming up somewhere in the middle of that. What I'm doing now is more of a research objective, where I'm doing stream tapering, which is basically breaking up streams and gradually increasing their size as the flow increases of these streams. So what I need to do for that is to base them on real mathematics and decide when there's a break in the math to make the streams look accurate. When I first started the research of the stream tapering, I was meeting with Cindy weekly, and I think on the second week I was doing some preliminary research of what streams do, and I told her straightforward that I thought this was a pretty much near impossible task, and she replied that she was aware and that that's what she wanted me to think, and also that this is why that I'm getting the project and not her students, so that I'd kind of get the experience of dealing with an impossible task and solving it and following it out through the end. I think the impossible step was just to overcome the barrier of having such a wide data set, looking at streams from arid regions and their behaviors compared to that of a wet region are just completely different. You have to deal with like flash flooding, which doesn't always happen in a wet region. So a lot of the streams in dry regions are characteristically less dry, not always there, but when they do flow, the flows are so much greater. So we had to take that into account and kind of downplay that so that the dry regions actually look drier than what the wet regions do. It took a lot of time to find something that actually worked. Every now and then you'd kind of get over a big step and just like coming up with a multiplication that made your streams look like what you wanted them to make or look like. So it was a really big relief. However, you knew that it wasn't the right way, but each kind of step and each kind of failure was a new insight into something that would be a more realistic solution. So it was a much more step-by-step basis of like, well, this didn't work, this still didn't work, but I'm getting closer until it's finally like just perfect. Since I started on the stream tapering project, pretty much every class project I've started and working on, I've kind of taken the same approach of this is an impossible task, but it's still a doable task instead of, or I guess more of a, this is a very difficult task but doable instead of a doable task but it's like too hard to do. So I kind of have a whole different mindset in how to approach something just starting off. And it also kind of gets me into the rhythm of trying different ways and not being afraid to spend the extra time and kind of having something that doesn't work out and then going back and having to redo it. So it kind of double checks what I've done in other works. This has definitely been one of the most memorable things that I've done pretty much in my whole college career so far, just because of how, I guess, important I feel and that other people are actually looking at my work for something that they need compared to just handing it in for a grade. So it kind of makes me feel that I'm actually doing something significant while I'm at school instead of just doing schoolwork.